excited to get, excuse me, we're excited to get this season underway. I think that our guys have worked hard in the off season. They've worked hard this fall camp, and they're ready to get to game one, just like everyone across the country. Football season is upon us, and we're ready to get this thing started. I do think that we're playing a very good opponent in Nevada, who's had an outstanding year last year. They're coached very well by Coach Norvell. They had some big wins. Beat Oregon State, was at one point was up 30-7 early in the second quarter. Beat Hawaii. Won their bowl game against Arkansas State. Then had some tough games against Boise State and Fresno State, where they were right in the game. So I think this team knows how to win, and they've played well, and they have good players. And this will be a great test for us to go on the road and see where we stack up. I know we have a young football team, but we've been trying to gain experience as fast as we can this fall camp and in practice and in scrimmages, and hopefully we can go out there prepared, ready to take the field and ready to compete. And that's what we want to see come Friday night.
Right.
We kind of know your stance on scheduling pretty ambitiously to test your team, but what can you take out of the trip, the sheer logistics of this?
Well, this is an important road game for us. Going across the country, playing on the west side, on a night game on a Friday night as the first game of the year will be a test. And we've got to make sure we're a mature football team when we take the field. We don't beat ourselves. We find ways to play to the best of our capability, and then whatever the score is at the end, we'll take the results of that. But I know last year we got off to a rough start. We also finished the season in a way we didn't want to, and we have a lot to prove, and we're excited to get game one underway.
You'd said a couple weeks ago, week 2 at the earliest for Lorenzo. Is that still how you kind of view things?
Yeah, it's it's still a work in progress. So for me to gauge exactly when that's going to happen, I'm not for sure, but we're hopeful that he can get back as soon as he can. But we're not at that point yet.
Right. What has Lawrence Johnson done in the meantime to get the spot up top of the depth chart here?
Lawrence has done a good job. I think he's gotten better. He's gotten in better condition. He's dropped weight. He's gotten a lot of repetitions. I think he wants to play well, and he loves football, and he wants to compete. He wants to represent Purdue in the best way he can. So we're excited to get him on the field. I do think we have multiple guys on the defensive line that are going to be able to rotate in and compete. And which ones stack up and play the most, or they're going to be the ones that play the best. And it's still an open competition, but Lawrence has definitely made some good strides, and we're looking forward to seeing how he competes on game day. He's shown us some good things in practice. We just got to make sure he continues to become more consistent and more disruptive on everything he does.
Are you using Cory Trice at corner?
Yes, Cory has been playing both safety and corner for us lately. He has been moved to corner a little bit more and seeing if he can grasp that. And he's a tall, athletic young man who I think is going to see the playing field, and we're trying to find a spot for him. And so while the position is new to him, I think sometimes when you just kind of isolate one guy on one guy, and maybe there's a little less to learn, we're hopeful that he can pick things up and play well.
Right. And then just the last thing I wanted to ask you, just kind of personal curiosity more than anything. As a former NFL guy, as a former quarterback, do you have any reaction to the Andrew Luck news?
Well, like everyone, I think Andrew was a great player. We all were excited to watch him play, and he had a tremendous career, and we definitely didn't want it to come to an end. But you know what? Each and every person knows their body and what they've been through, and you want someone who's as intelligent as him to make the right decision for him and his family, and I think that's what he's done.
Hey Jeff, talk about going out a day early and what you want to accomplish, I guess, as far as getting acclimated to the altitude in Reno. I guess 4,000 feet compared to 600 in West Lafayette.
That's the reason we are going out a day early. It'll be the night before to get adjusted to the timing change and also get adjusted to the air and the altitude, and we'll be able to hopefully get that done on Thursday when we're out there, when we go and have a light practice and jog around, move around a little bit, and see how we adjust. And then the game's on a Friday night, and whether there's heat adjustments or altitude adjustments or sleep adjustments, we want to make sure we're fully prepared for the game come Friday night.
Elijah Sindelar, last year's first game, 3 first-half interceptions, he's benched. Sort of talk about his progress from that point up till now, maybe what do you think he's gotten better at?
I think Elijah wants to be a great quarterback here at Purdue, and we're looking forward to watching him play this year. I think he understands he's done some very good things here, and then a few things that he's got to work on. And as we all know, the things to work on: interceptions and ball security, take care of the football. And I do think that he has made strides in camp, and he understands he still has to make more. I do think this past week has probably been his best week as far as not turning it over and making sure that he really hones down and concentrates on throwing it to our team and buying time in the pocket and finding the outlet, or maybe running occasionally and not chucking it up deep when things aren't open. But he's got to go out and prove himself. I do think he's played some really good football, and we've got to do our job to put him in the best position to succeed. But he's got to take the reins and run with it, and I'm hopeful he plays at a high level.
It sounds like you've been impressed with the defense. I guess it's the head of the offense right now. Sort of talk about some of the things that have developed on defense that have impressed you.
I think our defense, has made strides. I'm looking forward to seeing them get on the field. Does that mean we're at where we need to be at? No, we're not. But I do think the ability to get to the pass rusher and create penetration and disruption is more visible, and is very important for us to get done. I do think that the Von Mosley gives us some experience in the secondary, that hopefully he can get our guys lined up and ready to play along with Kenneth Major in the group. And I think our linebackers can be a solid group for us that played a lot of football. And I think it's all about making the quarterback feel uncomfortable and getting penetration and finding ways to get to the quarterback repeatedly. And that's kind of been our goal this spring. We've worked hard at it, and I am hopeful that come game 1 we're going to be able to do some of those things.
What the defense has done in camp, does that resemble anything to what kind of your feelings going into the 2017 season, when you were pretty high on what that group could accomplish?
I actually think in 2017 we had some very, very good football players. I don't know if we're at that level right now, because I do think we had some solid seniors that played a lot of football and been through a lot, that were very good football players that maybe just didn't show because of the win-loss record. I think it definitely helped us get to 7 wins that first year without question. That was the strength of our football team. This year there's a little more youth to it, mixed in with a couple of experienced guys, and I think in order for us to win in general, our defense has to play better. Our offense has to find ways to get explosive plays and not turn the ball over, and eliminate negative plays, and we've got to gain an edge on special teams. So all those things have to happen. It's not just on the defense by any means, but I do think that we can play better and do some good things on that side of the ball, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of these guys play and seeing them perform under the lights.
With your offensive line, it appeared, based on what we saw when we were able to watch practice, that you settled on this group kind of early in camp, or in that first week or so. What do you like about them? Why is this the starting group that you want to go to Nevada with?
I think our offensive line has worked hard. It's never going to be a finished product, especially when you have a lot of inexperience and you can't get down on them when there's some struggles. I think it's important that they do struggle some in camp, and we want them to get better, and by game 1 to be able to take the field and play confidence. So I think hopefully we're working towards that, and we've got to do a few things to take care of them at times, but that's on every offensive line. And I do think that probably the starting 5 you see on the field, I anticipate them playing well, and that doesn't mean that it'll be perfect, but I think they'll play hard. I think they'll compete, and we will rotate guys in there, and there will be a competition, and I think each and every one of them knows that there's not a huge separation between 4 and 5 and 9 and 10, and we're going to make sure that all are ready to go and on board. And I think that all of them have improved. It's just a matter of playing together as a unit and playing confident come game 1.
By moving Cory Trice to the cornerback, does that mean, obviously you're comfortable with Jalen Graham at one safety, but the progress of Marvin Grant, the way he's come on, has that allowed that move maybe to happen?
Well, I think right now Von Mosley is our most experienced safety. We feel the best about him in the back end. I think Jalen Graham is a very good young prospect. Well, hopefully he doesn't make a lot of mistakes early on. I don't think he will, but he's still young and green, and he's got to go out and prove himself. So until we see it on the game field, we'll continue to judge that. But he's worked extremely hard, and I think he's got a bright future. In the secondary to try to get us better, we've moved some things around. I think you'll see Brendan Thieneman in there at the safety position, and he'll be playing. He's got experience for us. I do think Marvin Grant is the next one up, and he has a very bright future. He's very athletic. I think he'll be very good, but mentally, he's got to continue to get better, and that's kind of where you got to be careful in the first game of the year or the first two games of giving true freshmen too much on their plate, because it can damage them a little bit if they don't play as well as they want, because they're just not mentally ready. So we've got to just make sure we police that, but you'll probably see them on the field, but we want to make sure that we play our experience as well, and make sure that we play to win, and we play the guys we feel very comfortable with.
Are you limited in the number of players you can take on this road trip? Is this kind of Big Ten rules, or?
No, we are not, but we're not going to take the full squad.
Okay. You know how many you'll take?
I don't know the final number. It'll probably be like a normal road game.
Right. Any update on Tario Fuller's timeline?
I'm not for sure of the timeline. I think he's got to get everything healed, and sometimes with that injury, weight is a concern, keeping up your strength, so we've got to monitor that. So we'll just take that week by week.
You've talked about you want to see more consistency week to week to this with your team as compared to last year when you had some highs and some lows. But with, I counted 16 freshmen, redshirt freshmen on your depth chart, doesn't that lead to some inconsistencies by playing young guys?
Well, I'm sure we're going to have a few more mistakes, and that comes with the inexperience. But it's been our job as coaches and players all spring and summer and fall to get them ready to go and put pressure on them and let them know that game one really shouldn't be Nevada. It should have happened in the first scrimmage, and game two should have been the second scrimmage. And really every day of practice there should have been pressure, and you should try to be performing your best. So hopefully we've done that to a certain degree. It's never going to be exactly like a game, but I do think we've identified a lot of the mistakes we made last year as coaches and players, and things that have caused us to lose to a certain degree in close games. And I'm hopeful that we have learned from that to a certain extent, and can take the field and not allow that to happen. Now, with that said, everybody watched the Miami-Florida game. There were 250 yards of penalties and numerous turnovers, and really the team that just fought the hardest and gritted it out and found a way to win. So you got to continue to have that, but yet if you can clean up all the other stuff early on and limit that, you'll have a better chance to win. And I think when you look at a team like Northwestern, that's what they're great at, is they eliminate those and they give themselves a chance to win because of the lack of penalties.
What do you know about Nevada's quarterback, Carson Strong, and what do you expect from him in that offense coming up on Friday?
Well, I think they play a wide open attack, and I think this is the quarterback they feel the most comfortable with, who can stand in there and throw it. He's a big, strong quarterback. He's got a good arm, and I think they're very confident he can step in and do a good job. With that said, I think they have another athlete behind him who will probably play in the game as well. They can run around and make plays, and he's very athletic, and we've got to prepare for both. So that's what we're trying to do at this point. But they will play a wide open attack, and they'll be aggressive in what they do. They'll spread the field. And when you're doing that, you've got to be able to guard guys. You've got to be able to not give up easy throws. You've got to be able to find ways to pressure the quarterback.
How tough are these first games when you're trying to figure out what personnel you're going to see? With an experienced team, you have a better idea, but when a team is trying to fill some holes like they are, I mean, how difficult is it to piece together what you might see on Friday night?
Well, we're going to go out there and hopefully take the field and play to win. And with a few inexperienced limitations, while you take it into account, you've still got to play aggressive. So I think I'm hopeful that on both sides of the ball and special teams, we play to win. We're not scared to take chances. There's not one team on our schedule that if we don't play well and attack, that we're going to beat. And Nevada is in the same boat. They play some very good football. They've got a lot of experience. They've had some big wins this past year. They're well coached, and we'll have our hands full going on the road, and we're going to have to do our part to mentally and physically play hard for 60 minutes.